So, hey, Shalom Akim. Back at it again through the spirit. How about you, Yahushua? Matter of fact, we're going to give all praise on board to Yahweh.
Yahushua, Hashem, Kakadash.
Those are apostle and ultimate millstone, towards his truth and well. Salutations to the Akim that pushing this word, and also Syrian answer, all full left. Shalom. A lot's going on in the news. You know, the big thing right now was the president of the United States, Biden, giving out his speech and basically saying he's going to come down on the people that's not down with the staff. All right, but that's cool because that's all prophesied in the scriptures to happen. So I get that first.
This is Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Right, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, which that's really, you know, all the presidents, you know, especially when you're going back to Obama. All right, that's when things really start getting hot because even before Obama, all right, you had this guy named Bush, all right, Water, and he was a demon, okay, and then people voted him out and voted for Obama. Obama was a demon too, you know. He really didn't do shit, but started this whole thing for homosexuals to have rights, all right, and continue to push the agenda of the elites. And now you have then you had Trump, you know, which Trump was doing what he was supposed to do, maybe bringing hell on people, and that was a good thing because all the hell has to take place. He still has to come down before we could be, you know, get out of it, before Yahushua was coming back, man. Because Trump brought in that whole thing of if you wasn't a citizen, you have to be sent back to your country, deportation. All right, he doing a lot of things, man. And then now you have this dude Sleepy Joe, which people was talking about. You don't want Trump, you want Joe. And everybody talking about they want Trump back, man. Okay, because Joe out here doing some bugged out things, you know, or things that they didn't think that he would have done. And one of the things he's pushing right now is the jab, you know, which people don't want to take it, but he's telling you in a nice way, you better take it or else. And that line up with the scriptures, man. You read anything, brother?
Khan. This is Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
That's right. War on who? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. That's why he's saying this. The Negroes, Latinos, and Americans have to take it because it's affecting them in the worst way. That's a damn lie.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Right. So this man is all about war. All right. And when you hear about swords, that goes into destruction. All right, destroying you. And the tongue could be a weapon also. You know.
Sirach 12:10. It says, "Never trust thy enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness."
Yeah, that's what we've been saying. You know, talking about apostle and others. That's what we've been saying. First of all, who's your enemy? All right, the so-called white man, Esau. That's your enemy. That been your enemy since the time of Jacob and Esau. All right, never trust your enemy. Right.
It says, "For like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him."
Right, though he humble himself and go crouching. You know, speak with nice words, speak to you calmly. All right, tell you you're a nice guy. Try to do things for you freely. All right. In America, what's free in America, man? Yeah. Ain't nothing free in America. All right. If you get a compliment, that's really free. Okay, so why the hell would this medication be free? You know, the whole thing's a setup.
Yeah. Water's not even free.
Water is free, man. Right.
And it says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass and thou shalt know that his rest has not been altogether wiped away.
Yeah, it's the same God that put us in slavery, man, about whole bondage. All right, and justified using the Bible. Okay, it's the same God, man. He ain't changed not one bit, man. You did, ask the so-called Native Americans, all right, Seminole Indians, all right, ask Mexicans, okay, because it was their land first. You know, and then Esau came and bulldozed their way through, or not bulldozed, but they lied and deceit, man, lies and deceit, all right, rape, rob, murder.
Yeah.
That's how this land was obtained.
Says, set him not by thee, that's when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
Mm-hmm.
Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take that seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked their way.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so set him not by thee. You know, like the other brother was going into, you know, what happened with the Native Americans. You know, they set Esau by them, they dwelt in so-called unity with them, and guess what happened, man? You know, Esau took their place, like it says here. You know, now, you know, if you did a time travel from the time of the Native Americans to now, like, damn, what the fuck happened? You know, what happened to the people, man? You don't even see God anymore, man, because Esau took their place. But it says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such that's come now wild beast?
Yeah, and wow, brother, and you see like on TV, you might see somebody stick their hand in an alligator mouth.
Yeah.
Alligator take their hand and start twisting around.
Yeah.
Or you might see somebody stick their hand in the gate with a lion, and the lion just snap with their hand right. You know, people's lives like that. Like that kid that jumped in the water with that gorilla, with the gorilla. Yeah. You know, but you know, we'll have mercy on him, but the gorilla got put down. But who's gonna pity a person that's dealing with the enemy, man, trusting the enemy? All right, this man, listen, I was compared it to animals, right? But you just brag that his tongue is like a sword. All right, so you can basically, you know, stick in your hand and just do it mouth, right? Yeah. He gonna bite your hand off.
All right, he saw the serpent, and he will get his venom, you know, which is the job. Yeah. Also, now they ended up with all kind of bad side effects. You know, now they, you know, that's how they learn. Now they telling people, you know, don't go take the jab. It's like, you know, like you mentioned, you put your head in an animal cage. Now you learn the hard way. So now if somebody that's doing it, like, nah, don't be doing that. But you should have known better, man. You know. The last verse says, it says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit.
Then you got these fake actors on TV talking about, listen, you know, they're in the hospital bed with the tube in their mouth, lying their ass off, acting their ass off, man. Horrible actors, by the way. Talking about, I shouldn't have waited, or I should have took the jab when I had the chance, and they acting like they want to die and shit. You know, shit is phony as hell, man. But, you know, a lot of jakes gonna fall for that shit. And really, a lot of Edomites are the ones that really fall for that shit, man. You know? It's really backfiring on you because Esau, the low class Edomites is falling for that shit, man. Jake ain't really taking that shit like that.
They're saying pretty much what 70% of Jake is opposed to taking the injection.
Yeah. You might have some dumbass I know a little nigga man took that shit, man. He like 20 years old.
Jake, I was talking to him today. He said he took one dose. He coming back for another one.
You feed up.
I got a quick precept. This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. Yeah, that, you know, speaking in reference to these devil, man, they are forgers of lies, man. They're none but liars, man. All right? They're the devil, man. All right? That the Bible speaks on. All right? The so-called white man. All right? They come from the sea on Esau, man. The Edomites, man. You know, they know them to be the border of wickedness, man. Pertaining to Malachi 1 and 4. All right? It says they are forgers of lies. I'll read it again. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are physicians of no value. And it's clearly being displayed right now, man. Because even when you take that venom, right, you still could get it. Yeah. So what's the point of taking it, man? Ain't when you take a so-called situation that, you know, I don't want to, you know, but when you take a so-called situation, it's supposed to prevent you from getting and sick. And which that is not doing, man. All right? And it was free, that's right, bro.
So, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
That's going into them. All right. Remember, if you get a match, you get fined $50. Right? So you can win a match like a whole year, right? To win a match. And then they kind of died down, but now the whole match they started to come back. Now they're saying if you don't take the venom, like Brother's calling, if you don't take the venom, then you can't go to work. You can't go to the gym.
Your kids can't go to school.
Your kids can't go to school, man. So you got kids 12 years old talking about you gotta take it. And on top of that, the kids gotta tell their parents they took it. You know? So how the hell that's backwards as hell, man? How you gonna tell these kids? Kids don't know what the hell they want to do. That's why they have parents. You're supposed to get a consent.
Yeah.
Now they're saying your kids can't do nothing. Your kids can do anything they want. Take the jab, and they don't have to tell their parents they took it.
Remember what Joe Biden said? He said it's not about your freedom. So, like Brother said, that's like draconian laws right there. You know, when your freedom is taken away and you're being forced to do something that you don't want to do, you know, your God-given rights is taken away from you because it's your body. Naturally, you don't want to put it in your body. You shouldn't have to. Right? These are the questions you should be asking. Why is the powers that be, the government, and you know, on down the line, you know, because we know that ultimately it's the agenda of the elites. All right. You know, you want to know why they are issuing these things, man. Okay, but that's why we here. We out here to warn you, all right? Because what Esau is doing, he's moving forward with his agenda, all right? Because they're running out of time. You know, their kingdom is coming to an end, man. That's why they want to, you know, collapse this economy through, you know, dealing with the Great Reset, okay? And they're using this whole Windows 19 thing as means to do that, to collapse the economy, all right, and bring in that digital currency, you know, that central bank currency, you know, digital currency, you know, where they control everything, all right, because that's ultimately what it boils down to, you know? The words of Yahweh Shem Shah, because you know we're watching the Most High's movie play out, and it says to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. You know, and that's Esau. All right, he's turning aside the needy from judgment. All right, and that's why they push confusion out there. They push all these different religions and philosophies to turn aside the needy from judgment, man. Okay, and keep you in a confused state, not knowing who you are. All right, it says to take away the right from the poor of my people. You know, that's Esau, man.
This Revelation chapter 13, verse 11, it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Revelation chapter 13, verse 11, it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon."
Yeah, because the lamb is known for being very humble and harmless, and that's the mannerism that Esau's coming in. He's coming in as everything is harmless, is for your benefits, and everything is for the well-being to get out of this global crisis. But he has ultimate motives. You know, he has multiple motives. Part of it is to, you know, depopulate the earth, and also part of it is to get people, you know, geared to get this microchip. Okay, that's another reason. They have everybody wearing masks is get them to the idea of, you know, seeing individuals, you know, and seeing, you lose the idea of individuals and see it in groups. You got mass, unmasked. Now people are seeing groups. Is a uniform code. That's what it's coming to. Like you see, like law enforcement, there's a uniform. You don't see, let me just make up a name, David Rodriguez. You see NYPD or law enforcement, the person that works for law enforcement. That's what you see. And so you don't see that individual no more. And that's what the mass thing was doing to create a separation. Okay.
And it says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Mm-hmm. Going into ancient Rome, but we living in modern day Rome, and Rome came back as a full structure through NATO and EU. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought you was on that.
Yeah, and it's scripture you mentioned Rome because you got these clouds out there in was it Dallas, Texas? Dudes with one body in your house shop. They saying that Herod was an Israelite. So we know that the ancient Roman Empire, going back to Revelation 6, it says that that horse was red and power was given to him to take peace from the earth. So we know that red is dealing with Edom. Okay, because Esau, the so-called white man, the reason why we're saying so-called white because he's really red, man. So it's symbolic for Esau. Okay, so you got a lot of false prophecies out there, man, concerning these breakdowns, man. That in these last days, these guys are waxing worse and worse, and they're trying to really they sold out, man. You saying Alexander the Greek was an Israelite. You saying where history itself, not even history, not even just history. You got artifacts, you got ancient statues and things like that to combat that idea that Alexander the Greek was an Israelite or Herod was an Israelite. Where it clearly says that Herod's father was an Idumean. Yeah. You look it up in the Greek. So yeah, that's these false prophets, and that's why we gotta, we don't want to make this about them. We don't want to spend too much time, but we gotta go into,
you gotta point them out. Yeah. You gotta point them out. Let the flock know that pretty much what these guys are teaching is dangerous. Like when you go in 2 Peter's, the 2nd chapter, it said how the word will eat as the word canker. And you look at the word canker in the Greek is the word gangrene, which is an infection. So like any infection, it spreads. It spreads to other members of the body. But for you to stop that infection, you need some antibacteria, which is the scriptures. So this is the medicine to stop that infection. You got to get rid of that infection. That's why it's saying in Matthew, if that right hand finger, cut it off, pluck it out. It's not something literal. It's spiritually. So you have somebody come in and teach you something different. You gotta acknowledge it. So God's on forward to that hole and get stuck.
Absolutely, because you got this is what we do is really for the new brothers. It's all about sealing the elect so that we get up out of here. So you got newcomers that's watching these videos and they're gonna pick and choose what camp they're gonna go in. But obviously, the masses, they're gonna go into these camps that have a world friendly, mentality or formation.
Nice theatrics, good speakers. You got the video, these crackers bowing down, kissing the booth. That's what a lot of guys fall of. They fall to all the theatrics and the good speaking. The world friendly doctrine. You could have a uniform mannerism of being in the world and being in the truth. You could be in the truth and still be in the world at the same time. Those are tasty things that a lot of guys fall for. because when you go to the actual truth, it's straight and it's one straight line. And you know, you're coming to the actual serving of the Lord, you gotta make assessment. You know, you gotta do assessment within yourself. But in other camps, you can do anything you want. You can be anything you want. You know, you don't gotta go into prophecy. Look at the dynamic we're living in right now. You got all these things happening on the news. Joe Biden making executive orders. Law enforcement, people that work for law enforcement just announcing their badge. You understand? Things happening in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and the Middle East. You know, truckers threatening to go on strike. All these things is happening in the news, but it's not being covered. That's why, you know, you watch the GMS video. What happened is we cover all grounds. We cover prophecy. We cover brotherly love. We cover breakdowns. You know, we cover high holy days and, you know, being humble. Everything that the scriptures comprise of, we cover those grounds. Whereas these guys, all they talks about is Israelite 101, which is nothing wrong with that. But then when they try to go deeper, that's when they go off. You know, like you want to learn the basics, they'll get the basics right. They'll get the color scriptures. They get who salvation for. And that's how deep they go. Like everything a person will learn in 2 months, that's it. You know, Deuteronomy 28 chapter. Or in the color of your house shop. That's it. They don't get no deeper than that. And those are the things a person pick up within the first 2 months. You know, but you see somebody, anybody got a sword, actual sword? Look how many pages in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Look how many pages is in this book. So there's a lot of topics that they cover.
This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel."
Yeah, guys. Sorry, brother. Read it again.
Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll."
Right. So what's the roll? The roll is the scriptures. You know, you don't eat half for it. You know, like you give a slice of pizza to a child, they may eat the cheese off, or they may eat half for it and leave the crust. But most kids just eat the cheese, you know, and eat the rest. Now you put in the scriptures, eat the whole roll, the whole thing, not just the parts that you like. Go ahead.
It says, "And go speak unto the house of Israel." It says,
So it's the Lord commanded us to teach the house of Israel, because the knowledge does not belong to us. You know, we're just vessels that the Most High using to bring out His word. You know, that's it. This is Most High wisdom. But however, we're just speaking. So we can't, you know, like in like a movie, it speaks about sticking to the script. Some guys they don't want to stick to the script. They want to ad lib. The Most High is all about sticking to the script, which is the scriptures. Going according with the Most High direct us to how to conduct ourselves and how to break down the scriptures. There's a right and wrong way. Okay? So when we mention other different camps, we mention them because they're doing things the wrong way. So we call them out.
Romans 16 and 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offense contrary to the doctrine which you have learned.
And by the way, like you had at one point, Zabak was saying he was trying to compare the word market with the word market in Revelation 13 chapter. And those are two different Greek words that have totally two different meanings. With this mark, what's the word there?
Mark.
Scopeo, right? Once you get the word to scope something out. So when you scope, you mean you're viewing something. You're identifying something, you know. So the scope means to watch. So you keep an eye on those people, or you put, you know how they say, you put somebody on the spotlight. So that's what we doing. We put people on the spotlight. Whereas the word mark in Revelation, as the brother should know, as a word there, karagma, what means incision. Two different Greek words, two different meanings. So it says, mark them would cause division contrary to the doctrine. Okay, so if somebody teaches something contrary to the doctrine, you put them on the spotlight. You let the flock know this person is misleading the flock, because he's gonna lead you into a ditch. Whereas we're leading the flock to safety and leading them to Yahweh Shah. Right?
And avoid them.
Right, avoid them, you shun them. Like how some people that actually believe in this, you know, this disease outbreak, you know, they avoid people, you know. So, and that's the same way you're supposed to deal with them. You avoid them. You know, you don't hang out with them and try to see if you got both come to common ground. And that's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not, that's, Lord ain't dealing with unity. You know, he's not dealing with unity camps. If somebody teach something contrary to the scriptures, you don't have no deal with that person.
Right.
I say one thing too. You know, this truth, you know, they try to make it for low level thinkers, but you in reality, this truth is not for low level thinkers, man. All right, that's why a lot of guys don't want to, you know, get with the apostles of GMS, you know, because we deal with, like we read Ezekiel 3rd chapter, you know, we deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly, man, you know, because, you know, you got to deal with the good part as well, man, the sufferings.
Continue. It says, for they that are such serve not our Lord Yahushua, but their own bellies.
Yeah, they serve themselves. They serve their own bellies. In other words, they all about receiving Israelite clout. You know, have, you know, the woman on the comment board, Shalom, brother. Good video. Now that's why they do it. They do it for the Israelite groupies and the clout. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's really what it's all for. Yeah.
And by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
Yeah, well, good speeches. You ever look at the comments and people like, great, really, that brother's told it. He was going deep. You know, those are the simple. You know, what makes them simple is that a simple person doesn't research anything. They take everything on face value. You know, like the scripture saying the church of that's real. Was it real? That's so nice.
That's the scriptures.
Then yeah,
That's church.
let's get it. Matter of fact, yeah, and that shows you a level of wisdom, right, bro?
This is Proverbs 14 and 15. The simple believeth every word.
So that's showing you what a simple person is. A person that's simple, you could tell them anything. They gullible. However, man,
it says, but the prudent man looketh well to his going.
So it said the prudent man look well into his goings. So the brothers you see here, the brothers watching at home, you guys are prudent, because when you first woke up to this thing, there was so many different camps to choose from, but you went to GMS. There's a reason why you chose GMS rather than the other camps, because we cover everything. You see, like, it's like you're learning mechanics. All right, you learn the basics, how to change brakes, calipers, rotors. All right, that's good and all, how to change your oil, but then there's levels. You know, there's people that rebuild transmissions, rebuild engines on that level. You know, so it's like GMS is on that level. Rebuild the transmission when it comes to the knowledge, because it's evident that the spirit of Yahweh Shah is with GMS and the brothers that get involved. You know, because everything is connected. It's not because the title GMS is just a title. Just because you call yourself GMS doesn't mean you'll be up there elect. GMS is just a title that we use to separate us from other teachings.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it's the spirit that guides you to the truth. There's a connection that a brother has, whereas some guys get misled, but there's some guys that the Most High lead them directly to the truth.
That's Acts chapter 17, verse 11. It says, I start at verse 10. It says, and the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night unto Berea, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so.
So they just didn't receive it, they searched the scriptures. You know, every time the scripture was quoted, they went to see, okay, let's see what scripture that, okay, yeah, it does say that. You know, that's what they did. Whereas these other guys, you notice the guys that get lured into these different types of other kin, you know those guys don't take notes. Yeah. You see them in the video, they're just standing there, yeah, that's right, brother. They don't, you know that they don't take no notes. And you know, and it's much easier today because you have our phones. You easily go to your phone, the note section, you know, what scripture was that, brother? Okay, right in your phone. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to actually have a pen and notepad no more. You can do it in your phone. Them guys, you know, they just there for a show. But at the end, being entertained is not going to deliver you. It's building yourself up in the spirit, and of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is what's going to deliver us.
Yeah, that's it.
This is Titus chapter 1, verse 10. It says, for there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses.
Now, back 2,000 years ago, the circumcision was the ones that sought righteousness by the law, you know, and not by faith. But in this case, you could apply it to guys that know the truth, you know, whereas you got Jake in the world that don't know the truth, but you got guys that know the truth now, and they know the scripture say not to do certain things, but they found wiggle room around this, so they don't have to comply to it. Like, I hate to use this guy Sakari, but scripture speaks about a man shouldn't have long hair. Now, he's like, whoa, I'm a Nazarite, brother. I'm a high priest. And he found any excuse to justify him not making assessments in his life. But if you really understand the scriptures, there's really no need to be a Nazarite no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're dealing with faith. You know, technically the Most High is not dealing with us. The Most High, he's dealing with Yahushua, and Yahushua is dealing with us. Because we too unclean for the Most High to deal directly with us.
Yep. It says, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not for filthy lucre's sake.
Right, teaching things that ought not for what filthy lucre's sake. But filthy lucre is represented towards payments. You know, they'll be having videos. Don't forget to subscribe. That's my cash app in the bottom. You know,
Super chats.
The super chat. Shout out to DU7777. Just send me $15. See, you know what I'm saying? That's why they do it. Now, is something wrong with donations? No. But these guys' sole purpose is to capitalize off the word of the Lord.
They be teaching a video, and then all of a sudden you see an ad with it. You know, they got merchandise, they got merch. You know what I mean?
It's like Sakari. He just put out an album in a reality show. You got to pay to watch the reality show. You got to, buy the album. You know.
I bet he's looking for sponsors and all that. He's looking to excel in the world. That's why he's doing it, to be comfortable in this world. And here it is. Everything is changing. The whole world, as people know, is changing. They're pushing more people to the corner. You know, now we're in a time which that's going to change, either be, tested or vaccinated. And they're going to soon strip away, weekly testing, and next thing you either have it or you don't have it.
Yeah. Biden, he just did that.
Mm-hmm.
After the first time, he said, you could either get weekly tests for federal workers or get the job. Then the next day he put out the weekly test and now you gotta get the job.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, right. So right now they're still allowing people to get it, and now is if you work anywhere that have more than 100 employees, they have to go according to that guideline. You know what I'm saying? But it's all conditioning, and it's gearing people to get used to this idea of to obey.
Mm-hmm. This is Matthew 24 and 3. The point is really verse 4. We'll start at 3. And as he sat upon the mountain of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Yeah, that's the disciples that was inquiring to our Lord and Savior Yahushua on his coming, man. All right, and the scripture specifically said, right, that it says the end of the world. This world, right? See, the thing that Jake got to realize too, that when you read the scriptures, you got to be able to go back to the root words that these words was translated from to have a thorough understanding of the biblical uses of these specific words. Because this word "world," when you go into it, right, it's eon, I believe, and it's basically speaking in reference of the end of the age. Right? It's not speaking about the end of the whole world in general, because the scriptures tell you that the world bound forever. All right? So it's speaking about the end of the rulership. Right? And the disciples asked him, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And that's exactly what the elders and brothers was going into in reference to, that's one of the signs that's indicating the end of times, man. You got these false prophets out right now, all right, that's claiming to be for the Lord, that's claiming that they're the anointed ones, right? And they're false leading the people with false doctrines, man, all right? And it's all different religious groups. Then you have those that are awoken to the truth, our heritage, and that's misleading the flock, man, leading the flock to the slaughter. Why? Because they're hirelings, or they got strayed away by their strong delusions, man. All right? And what the Lord said, I believe in Revelation 22 and 18, that anyone that take or add from the word, right, shall be destroyed, man. All right? He's going to destroy them. That's roughly paraphrasing the scriptures. Okay? And he shall hear wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And that's what's currently going on right now, too. I'm not sure if brothers is in tune with that alternative news, but we are, and according to the media, according to the world globally, that's what's currently going on right now. We're seeing and hearing rumors of wars. All right? Currently, just recently last year, you had Israel and Iran going back and forth, man. All right? They killed the Iranian general, then the scientist, then they killed the general. All right? They've been going back and forth with the rocket attacks. Tel Aviv was attacked. All right? And according to the scriptures, what it said, the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right? And who's the least of the flock? Israel being America's ally, all right, which is biblically known to be Babylon, all right? And also spiritual Egypt and Sodom, okay? But Israel being America's ally, who's America's ally? All right? The NATO and the EU, okay? And Iran's allies who? Russia and China, all right? So those two being the least of the flock is going to eventually it's going to end up bringing out the armies, man, because America's going to end up getting involved, Russia going to end up intervening, and the bears is prophesied to destroy America, which is Russia, man, all right? As well as the other nations, all right? Their allies, American allies, that's going to end up nuclearly destroying this place as well, right?
And wait till even before the missiles get here, there's going to be a battle taking place in the Middle East. And it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a draft and a lot of people dying, how else could that scripture be fulfilled? The woman should mourn, I have no bridegroom, and the wars should feel the husband should die. And it's plain in scripture that's talk about the stink should come up. You know, where the stink gonna come in the battle, in the midst of the battle? There could be a lot of bodies. Joel's 2 and 20, Revelation 19 and 19. He said a feast for the birds, the feast on the kings and stuff like that. Ezekiel 38, Isaiah 14th chapter. They should not be joined with them and burial. So these things gotta happen before the mission take place, and you know, a lot of people is gonna be getting drafted, and food is gonna be scarce or scarce, and you know, people gonna be suffering. And you're gonna get back to cannibalism. And how else would that evil thought get into the Russia? The most people say the most I put evil thought in their mind, and because they're gonna have to have an advantage over America to like, man, you got this, and just start shooting over here. It is place out.
Mm-hmm. What's that? It's a little bit more spot here. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Like the elder was just going in on, you know, these are things that's going to transpire, right? The battle of Armageddon, right? It's going to transpire in the Middle East, which is called the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh's judgment, all right? And it says famines, like the brother just expounded on as well, man. You know, it's going to be famines it's going to be approaching. Not too long, the UN reported that a biblical proportion famine is approaching. All right. So, you know, all these things is actually coming to life, and that's what the scriptures talk about in Habakkuk when it says the vision is for a point in time, and it shall speak, man. All right. These prophecies are speaking, man. Right.
Now we're in a time with this. I told you so. We've been saying this. You hear that phrase now on in brother videos. You put on brother's video. We've been telling y'all. We've been warning y'all. Because being in town, listen, we told you. You know, our elders been in this 20 plus 30 years before I was born. You know, talking about the demise of America. Then they had their elders doing the same thing, and now we here. You know, now we here, and we're gonna, because a lot of people got this idea when the end comes, it's gonna be generations and generations. No, it's gonna be within your generation. You know, it's gonna happen within this time. You know, shit. Lord willing, it may happen 2022. You know, Lord willing. You know, if it be the Lord's will, and the Lord speeds things up more fast, because the moment we see, like Apostle Paul always say, the moment we see the microchip and they start fully pushing that, just know we at the end. And that's what we're waiting for, man. Like, people watch the news and see the mandates and like, oh, what am I supposed to do if I can't work? And they find what I'm gonna do. Well, we see videos and the more mandates, more restrictions, we get happy, like, come bring it on, you know? We like Spursley Rambo, we looking for it because the more Esau does that, the more we're close to get out of here. So we look more for that stuff. We're not worrying like, man, how I'm gonna eat? Well, what if I lose this city job? What if I get kicked out the union? We don't have that type of thought because, listen, man, I don't plan to leave my working clothes, you know? Lord willing, if I'm man of the Lord, you know, I don't plan to leave my boots in kingdom work. I'm planning for that to be destroyed here. You know, and in fact, going to work is a curse. That's what it's saying in Genesis, through the sweat that brow. That's not something we're supposed to do. You know, we're supposed to technically be living in peace. But through insubordination and or sin, this is how we have to live until Yahweh shall return and deliver us.
Some jakes, you know, love working, man. That's why they want to take the jab, they want to take the chip, because they want this to make them normal, because they like to be slaves under the so-called white man, you know. Yeah. But really, man, like the brother just said, through the spirit, man, we supposed to be working, man. All right, supposed to be actually kings and priests. Okay, we'll sit feet up, you know, beating these other nations as they going off.
Snapping our finger, let's go.
You know, and you better not be late on that snap. You know what I'm saying?
So you working or you talking? Let's go. Move, let's go. You know, well, actually, we ain't gonna really be the one. We gotta have taskmasters, but we're gonna be on a taskmaster side. And anybody, you know, it's gonna be a ranking system to the nations. And when they see us, let's say we walk on the field, you know, the taskmaster gonna be okay. They're gonna be on the ass. Listen, around this time, Corrales gonna walk. Y'all better be in your best behavior. If I get cursed out, y'all getting cursed out. So, you know, they're going to be in fear. They're going to be in their best behavior. You know, when they see us, they be all just going, oh, shit. You know, but that's what we're looking forward to. We're looking for all of this to come to an end.
I got a quick preacher. Nobody going backwards. This is Matthew 17:16. Says, you shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree brings forth.
See, it says you should know them by their fruit. Now, you mentioned like GMS guys, like non-believers will say good things about GMS. You know, these are non-believers, like Rocat, and they hate us. Side nigga. You know, they're saying GMS is most sincere. Well, Rocap said that, and then Sonetta pretty much said that GMS is more accurate, you know, and they're more sincere and stuff.
They're most diligent. These brothers are right. He was talking about the microchip. Even he can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but these brothers saying is right.
Yeah, he just don't like it because we throw shots at him.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
And the woman too.
Yeah, we get on the woman. That's the only thing that makes him come up against her. But you know what we saying is true. But he knows his spirit too that compares to ISUPK and IURC, you know, they not sincere. They not on no level. They're not talking about nothing really. Yeah. They really not talking about nothing. That's what I was going to say. You should know them by their fruits. You know, like you see GMS guys, they make videos. They hit topic, they hit points, they break down scriptures. You know, man, you look at GMS on my notification, you can't keep up with all the videos getting uploaded. You know, it's not the same with these other camps. You know, they make videos, but not as productive as GMS.
Well, they complain about it. Somebody Charlie said, all these guys do is make videos. They complain about that.
Yeah.
They got nothing better to do.
We got nothing better to do than make videos. Yeah.
You don't nothing better to do.
Exactly. You don't got nothing better to do. You got that part right. Yeah.
Something to finish off real quick. Matthew 7:17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. And that fruit or that tree would go into the leaders or the elders, and the fruit they bring forth even brothers. Man, you bring people into the truth. You tell a friend about the truth, and they come in, or they hear it, they receive it, you know, and they start doing their own thing, or they join the camp. That's fruit, man. You know, that's bringing forth good fruit. You know, same way you got guys, these other camps, you got guys getting lineups, shaving their beards, rapping and shit, man. That's not dealing with the scriptures, man. All right, so that be considered evil fruit.
Guns at camp.
Yeah, they got guns, the extended joints,
And they all do the same thing. You know, and you see them end up being on the news, or they got an open case or some shit. Because that's the fruit, you know. They learn from each other.
Yeah.
And if you getting locked up and getting cases, how you pushing the word?
Yeah, as you kid, they just said they're taking in murderers, drug dealers, and felons, all criminals, you know. So that they're taking bad fruit, you know, because you know they all about that, that tough guy, you know, Israelites. But the white man is the devil, you know what I'm saying? Always, you know, trying to get into fights and all that, you know.
And that's how far they go. The white man's the devil. All right, cool. The Muslims say the white man is the devil. You know, like, what's next?
Got a quick precept to match with that. This is Sirach 27:6. It says, "The fruit declareth if the tree has been dressed, so is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of a man." Yeah, so the fruit declared if the tree has been dressed. You know, what's being dressed is what? With the word, you know, with the truth. You know, so you gonna have guys, you know, that claim, you know, the Israelites, but you look at their works, you know, it goes completely against the truth. You know, guys having Passover at, you know, strip clubs. They said it wasn't a strip club, it was just a club with bottle girls that were naked. But, you know, that's a bad fruit, man. You know? Like the brother mentioned, you know, guys with you know, guns at camp, you know, making rap videos, you know, that's not the look you're supposed to have, man. That's not the fruit you're supposed to bear, man. You being rotten fruit, you know? You being rotten fruit, man, you know? And it says, so is the utterance of conceit in the heart. This is Sirach 27:6. It says, "The fruit declareth if the tree hath been dressed, so is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of a man." Yeah, so you know, so is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of a man. So you know, these guys, you know, they're claiming to be Israelites, but you look at the things that they teach, it goes against the scriptures. Some guys telling you, "Oh, the Bible is not the word of God, but the word of God is in the Bible." You know, they tell you, "Oh, John the Baptist was not in the truth. You know, John the Baptist is a plate of fish, bring me the hot sauce." You know, that's completely going against the scriptures, man. You know, the mark of the beast is not the RFID chip, you know, which is, you know, goes against the scriptures, man. You know? So that's how you know these guys that don't have the right fruit, man. They don't have good fruit, you know? That's it.
This is Jeremiah 28:9. "The prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Khan." This is verse 8. Jeremiah 28:8. "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence."
Yeah, and you know, when the prophets came on the scene, all right, people was afraid. All right, they wanted to know, you know, what the prophet had to say, man. The prophet was held, you know, in high regards, high esteem, all right, contrary to this time, you know. But you know, like I said, man, the prophets, you know, when they spoke, they mainly spoke about war, evil, and pestilence, man. All right, because if it's times of peace, you ain't gonna see like in the kingdom of heaven. We ain't gonna be up there prophesying in the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because it's gonna be times of peace. All right, and everybody's gonna be righteous. So there's not gonna be no need to go out there and on the streets and teach everybody. The scripture say all's gonna know the Lord in that time. Okay, but it's talking about, you know, prophets, you know, they go into, you know, the downfall of a wicked kingdom, man. All right, it could be their own people, you know, like you have prophets like Jeremiah, all right, Amos, they was speaking against wicked Israelites, man. You know, and we're coming in that same spirit, man, because those same prophets are back here today. You know, but then you got the false prophets like Hananiah. You know, Jeremiah, he had to call him out, man. You know, and we coming in that same spirit. We calling out the false prophets because, like I said earlier, you know, you got new babes coming into the truth, all right, and they need to know who's who, and then it's up to them to make that choice if they want to, you know, be with the false prophets, or they want to be with the sincere brothers, man, the ones that's actually serving the Lord and not their own belly, because these guys, man, they, like scripture say, they all their works is to be seen of men. You know, like the brother said earlier, you know, they all about subscribers, you know, self-glorification, garments, you know, enlarging, you know, like they used to do in the ancient world, enlarging the borders of their phylacteries. You know, that's what these guys are about, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can add on, yeah, they full of carnality, man. They're not really spiritual, man. All right, because what the scriptures say, that the spirit, in Revelation, it said that the spirit of Mashiach is the spirit of prophecy, man. All right, so like the brothers and elders are getting into the fact of, you know, actually being in that true spirit of Yahweh Shah, man. All right, and that's what Jesus represent, man. All right, starting with our elder apostles and our elders down, man. You know, we one sound. All right.
Yeah. That's why we don't go to unity camps. Like you said, we one sound. We don't have all these different, mixed genres of music. You know, it's only one right song, man.
What is unity? In order for you to, you know, be in unity, like scripture say, you gotta all be in like minds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Together.
Yeah, that's what you said. That the word, the word uni actually means one. Like you got uniform.
Yeah.
Form into one. Like everybody go to a kid go to charter school, they have a uniform. All everybody dressed alike. So uni means one. That's what scripture said. Can two walk together except they be agreed? And one. You know. Now if we're not in one mind, how could we even, walk together? You know, we have to be a one.
And also just to add on, like the scripture was expounding on, it says what? The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war, of evil, and of pestilence. And like the brother said, we're coming in that spirit, man. Because what the scriptures say, the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. All right, which is a clear indication that reincarnation is real, man. All right, but it's nothing new under the sun, according to the scripture. So the same thing that the prophets were doing in the ancient time, that's what we are currently doing, because that's what's currently going on, man. All right, what prophets do, prophets speak before they prophesy. That's what prophesy means. All right, to speak before, man. All right, and we're telling y'all about the oncoming, calamities and judgment from the Lord that's coming, man. All right, because the Lord made us what? The watchmen over Israel, man. All right, so we're giving our warning, we're upon our posts, and we're measuring the times diligently within itself. We're seeing the signs, the oncoming, destruction that's approaching. We're seeing the pestilence right in front of us, all right, outside of many other signs, all right, and we're warning our people, man. We're blowing that trumpet in Zion, all right, we're giving our warning, okay?
Quick precept.
Let me finish this. The prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, hath truly sent him.
Yeah, because you gotta know what times you're living in. Okay? The times that we're living in is not times of peace, man. Okay? And like I said earlier, man, when the Most High sent his prophets out, it was always to warn, man. When you know what I'm saying, you don't really hear about prophets prophesying a peace like that, man. Okay? Part of us prophesying of the peace is the gospel. You know what I mean? We talk about the kingdom of heaven, but we talk about the time that's going to come before the kingdom of heaven, man, which is not a peace, man. All right, that time is Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, which these guys that's claiming to be Israelites, they're not really prophets, man, because they're not going into prophecies. All right, the scriptures say the elders that are worthy of double honor, what do? They admonish. All right, the word admonish means to warn. Okay, and that's why we give double honors to the apostles, great millstone, because first and foremost, they still out there on the streets, week in and week out, on fire. And some of these guys that are new in the faith, man. They more on fire than younger men in this truth, man. Always putting up videos, man. Always going, getting their channels taken down, putting up another channel. That's somebody that you should follow, man. That's somebody that's a leader right there. You know what I mean? Somebody you can look up to. You know what I mean? You see them pushing, man, to the grace in their head. You know what I mean? That's a real leader right there, man. And they go into these prophecies warning the people. Always Pastor always talking about the mark of the beast. Always talking about Revelation 13 and 16. Man. It sounds like a broken record, man. But that's the spirit you gotta be in, man. Always going into the, always want, because there's always new information coming out. Because we're at the end. That's the topic. That's the hot topic in the world. The trending topic is prophecy, man.
This is Jeremiah chapter 8. Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 10, it says, "Therefore will I give their wives unto others in their fields to them that shall inherit them, for everyone from the least even unto the greatest is given to covetousness. From the prophet even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely, for they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, Peace, peace, when there is no peace." So there is no peace, man. The scripture says there is no peace to the wicked. But hey, that's what the churches do, man. They teach a prosperity doctrine that everything is going to be all right. Israelites tell you to conform, to this world. Take this man's job, so you can keep your job. That's them, teaching peace to Israel. But when you look at GMS, we warning them that, hey, man, all hell's about to break loose. That ain't gonna be no food in these streets, man. The economy's gonna collapse. They call us the prophets of doom, man. Because when the prophets came, like the brother read, it was to prophesy against the kingdoms, man. Which is why the prophets, they got charged with treason. They got put in dungeons. They got murdered. Because the words they spoke, the people couldn't bear the words that they spoke, man. We tell these people that the dream they have, the America that they look up to, is going down. All that job you work for, your retirement, all of that's gonna be done away with. So nobody wants to hear that, man. Which is why GMS, we're the camp that offends, most Israelites. They don't want to come to us, man. But that's it.
All right. So, Miss, anybody got any closing statements? All right. So, Lord willing, this video been edifying. Until next time. Again, we're gonna say, "Oh, praise and glory to Yahweh."